All right. It says 6:30. We're on time. So I want to welcome everybody tonight. It's our June meeting for El Dorado Hills Area Planning Advisory Committee. We should start doing roll call instead. Secretary Bill Jamaica, Vice Chair Mr. John Raslier, Vice Chair Tim White, and Chair John Davey. I want to thank you for coming out. It's summer. Oh, I did him first. Yeah.
Mixing it up, being wild.
In order of priority, so I think I did. So, but thank you for coming out in June and a warm June day at that. Our agenda is pretty light tonight. We had expected to have a guest speaker and we don't. The guest speaker will be coming in August now. So, and we had already skipped a meeting in April. We didn't want to skip more meetings, but we probably will be skipping July because it looks like nothing's coming up. So with that, let's go ahead and, is my share not working? Is it? Yeah, is the video on? I bet it's not. Well, that's fine. And then both. This might be an audio only. So let me try that again. Hold on, let me try the share again. And well, okay, I shouldn't have said anything about 6:30.
It's going.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I don't see I don't see the cameras in the room.
It's looking funky.
Let me redo this here. Sorry, view, speaker. And now let me try it. It's not like I don't do this all day. It's doing a double share. There we go. Okay, so. I don't know, it's the, okay, stop one more time. It's always something. View, speaker, follow. Follow host. Well, everything looks square on my side. Let me try that share one more time. Share screen 2. Yeah, it's showing up as a double on mine. One last thing. Okay. Okay, it's set up for host to share. There we go. Oh.
I don't know why that works, but
It's a miracle. So now we're getting one. Now it's 6:35. So the first thing we're doing tonight, what'd you do?
came back on and I took over the screen.
Okay, we're going to move along while Bill screws around. So, okay, so we introduced officers that are here tonight. The adoption of our meeting agenda, there's not much to it. Are there anything modifications we want to make? Nope. Okay, that was easy. So the first option we have tonight is, or for the first opportunity, sorry, is public comments for matters that aren't on our agenda. And again, there's not a lot on it. So we allow 3 minutes provided to each speaker. If you're commenting on Zoom, we ask you to use the raise your hand button. If you're on a phone, press *9. And if you have public comments, voluntarily provide your name, and so we can have the record correct for our meeting minutes. So is there anything in the room? Okay. And then is there anybody online on Zoom that would like to comment? I don't see any hands going up. Oh, that's right. Okay, in the room. You're red. You can go.
On Monday night, the Maya Schneider from Marshall Hospital came to Four Seasons to talk about the dire financial consequences of some new state and federal regulations to all community hospitals in California, and in particular Marshall Hospital. And she outlined a plan, an initiative, and it's so big that, excuse me if I read it, it's called the El Dorado County Fire Departments and Marshall Hospitals Initiative, Fire Prevention Initiative. And the idea is that there'll be an initiative on the ballot where they'll raise 3/8, they'll put a tax of 3/8 of a dollar on things sold in El Dorado Hills. And that money will go towards keeping Marshall Hospital, or making Marshall Hospital be able to provide the services that they have now. And this money will also be shared with the fire departments and within the county so that they can do things like maybe purchase additional ambulance coverage and ambulances. And at the meeting, I had asked people in the audience, I said, well, nobody likes a tax, okay? And I said, how many people here in the audience would vote for this tax? And we had at least 3/4 of the people vote that they would, after that presentation, would vote for this tax, because there are some hospitals already. Barton's Hospital up at Tahoe is going to leave California because they can't get the money up to meet some of their requirements, in particular for earthquake improvements to their buildings. And I'm just reading in today's Village Life, which, everything that's said in the Village Life, of course, is important. And it says that the Cameron Park Community Service District is giving its support to this initiative. So I just want to mention it to you. You're going to see it on the ballot. And many people agreed that this would add financial support to the Marshall Hospital, a community hospital, and also all of the fire departments. Thank you.
Yeah, and so look for that'll be on the November ballot, and it's a countywide 3/8, right? Increase in the sales tax. So, and Cameron Park, the CSD, they are the fire service provider in Cameron Park. They have the fire service, they contract with CAL FIRE. So it makes sense for them to weigh in on that now. So I'm sure, and we don't do we typically don't have those presentations for that type of thing. I don't know if even the CSD can do it at their special meetings, because they're not supposed to do anything that we're advocating for votes. So I imagine that if Maya wants to schedule something here in El Dorado Hills, it'd probably be something that we would let you know about. But it's a discussion that's probably important to have in the community, whether you're opposed to it or a favorite. So
Could we sponsor an informational session without advocacy?
Maybe we'll have to go back and look at our bylaws. I'm trying to think. We're not supposed to advocate. Well, that wasn't for something we're going to vote on. That was for the building here in.
Talk about the financial problems that the hospital is facing.
So perhaps as individual residents, we could sponsor something, but maybe not say APAC sponsoring it. Fair. So anyways, if anybody wants to help with that, but I think it's an important conversation to have, right? So it's something we're going to vote on, and if you're informed, that you know how you should cast your vote. So moving along. So back from vacation. So opportunity to hear from supervisors. Supervisor District 1, Greg Ferrero, is here tonight. And Greg, I think as long as the green's on, you should be good to go. And thank you for sharing time with us tonight.
Green is on.
Awesome.
Well, as always, thank you for, yeah, it's been a few months, but I think, did you cancel April?
Canceled April.
March, I think I was at CSAC.
Yes.
Probably been since February.
Yeah.
I mean, Cindy stood in. She did. Thanks.
You did a
Yes.
great
I
job.
know you're nicer to her than you are to me.
Yeah.
So,
You could probably hold your notes and she could read them.
She is. Yeah, it's a ballot. Just, our CAO ballot. This is the awesome part. Pretty sure that the county has to manage that, and there's no funding dedicated for that, so we're gonna have to
Yeah.
figure that out. How much it's gonna cost if it passes. Good evening, I'm Greg Ferrero, Supervisor for District 1, which we're in, and I just do a little kind of recap of the last month or so, things we talked about on the board, APAC meeting, so appreciate the time again. Traffic stuff going on. White Rock Road is currently closed at Carson Crossing. Yeah, west. So everything west of Carson Crossing is closed because the city of Folsom has doing emergency culvert and I think sinkhole repair. So it's been closed since yesterday. Or it's actually closed at 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and it should be back open. Well, if you're going that way, if you're heading to Sacramento County on White Rock in the middle of the night, you're gonna have to pick a beach. This is a few months ago, but I don't know if everybody knows, I'm sure most people do, but we actually appointed Sue Phillips as our permanent CAO. And I gotta tell you, I think she's doing a great job. I think she's really doing a great job. We are the board is kind of empowering her more to lead the departments, or at least the non-elected departments. Because what we were finding is the department heads were reporting to the board of supervisors, and they're getting maybe getting 5 different directions. And so we're trying to funnel everything and keep Sue, get her more involved, and to, hold accountable the departments more. More of a CEO type of model, like a business, instead of having 5 different supervisors with 5 agendas, different directions to the departments. And I think she's been doing a great job. She's so well informed on what's going on. I think it was a good choice. I met with DOT last week. I was informed that the roundabout at Bass Lake and Bridalwood may be coming sooner than later. They have funding for the design and environmental, and I guess there's some grant opportunities where within the next couple of years we get money to fund construction. So that's as of last week, and probably 2 or 3 years after done. Originally I thought it was 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
One thing I'm bringing, George turned away, yeah, knee replacement surgery. He's laid up, but one thing George and I are bringing to our June 23rd meeting is an item on the agenda, and it's regarding Costco. And what we want to do, if Costco gets approved, and this item will have nothing to do with whether we support Costco or not, but if it gets approved, we want to keep some of the money in El Dorado Hills for traffic improvements, traffic maintenance. Because the county's going to benefit, but El Dorado Hills is going to be absorbing all of the impacts, traffic, aesthetics. So we're going to be bringing that to the board for conceptual approval on the 23rd, provided George is back. It was supposed to be next week, but couldn't guarantee he's going to be at the meeting next week, so we postponed it a week. But we love public comment to support that. And that's like I said, this is not has nothing to do with whether you want Costco or not. doesn't have anything to do with whether I want it or not. If it's improved, we want to keep some money down here in El Dorado Hills for 95762. So it would apply to District 2, District 1, and a little bit of 4. And we have been, we allocate money, like District 3 had an MCNFP program for years. We just allocated $8.5 million in settlement money to Volcanoville because of the mosquito fire. District 5, they get supplemental money for snow removal, things like that. So I hope we'll get support on it. And just need one more vote.
Are there details anywhere that we can see that, so we
You
can
know,
properly advocate?
So I submitted verbiage, but I think it needs to get approved by the county council, CAO's office. It's just for conceptual approval.
Okay,
We'll give them a few months. I want to get, if it's approved conceptually, June, I want to have it done by the end of summer, so we have a direction. So, because we don't know when Costco item's actually going to come. It might be fall, might be winter, might be longer, I don't know. We haven't really heard from them in a while.
Yeah,
so this would be county allocation of sales tax revenue Back-
Sales,
okay.
or property, or a combination thereof.
or TIF or,
Well, it's already going to be.
yeah,
And in the sales taxes, a little tricky, because let's say a store makes 300 million a year, which is, I think, not unrealistic. 1.5% of that comes to the county, is my understanding, but food
right.
products aren't taxed, so it's kind of hard to determine what the sales tax will be, and they're not obligated to disclose. They're not obligated to disclose what they pay in sales. So we might just have to agree on a firm number, $1 million a year, $500,000 a year, something like that. Whether it's property tax or sales tax, doesn't matter. But conceptually, we want to get the go-ahead to.
Members of the Board of Supervisors. if
Yeah,
they-
hopefully future board members would.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
MCNFP. How many years was that?
Missouri Flat, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be. How many years? A lot of years, yeah. No, you're right, and that's one thing I was talking to Sue about, our CAO, it's just like, well, what can we do to make sure it's gonna connect or it's not gonna.
Yeah.
And that's gonna depend on, supervisors who are representing District 1 and 2, and cityhood could obviously change everything also, so.
Yeah, and the big component of that is there's no development agreement on this project, so it's not like we can negotiate something that's ongoing and can't be,
Yeah.
so.
No, and this has nothing, whether Costco is irrelevant to this. They don't have to approve it, they don't have to,
Yeah,
they're not
It's-
involved. I want to skim some of that tax money up here.
yes,
I just want to make a comment, when you're saying this is conceptual, it's almost putting in people's mind that it's going to happen. And that's why you're planning for it and you're not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bad thing to do. And the other thing is, I don't see how you can ever just take the money and keep it here in El Dorado Hills. They've never been able to do that, so that's going to be a hard nut.
Joe can set up a special account. I mean, it could be done. I've been working with him. And yeah, you're right. People are gonna think, yeah, they're supporting Costco. Well, we are putting this as as kind of a safety check. If Costco gets approved, we want to keep the money there. Otherwise, it's gonna get distributed 5 ways.
yeah, I mean, even right now with the SB1 funds, when they come in for transportation, for maintenance, historically, what we've done since SB1 went into effect is that we said, here's this pool countywide for these funds. Let's just divide it 5 ways, and each district gets a project or whatever the dollars, however it divides up. And that's equitable. However, where is that money generated? The majority of it's generated right here. And where are our roads impacted? Right here, because there's more people. The counter to that is that a community like Somerset or Georgetown, if that's how we're funding road maintenance, they're never going to get anything. So, got to balance it somehow.
Yeah, I think, April meeting, we just put the capital improvements for each district.
Yes.
That totaled everything up. We came out ahead by a few $100,000 than the rest of the districts.
Yes.
We were like 1.9 million. So we did come, I was very leery of that, you know.
Yeah.
I understand what I was reading, but it did allocate more money down here. You know, also remember in El Dorado Hills, so the county's not getting all that tax money. Go to the fire department, and they're getting 18%.
CSD.
CSD get 10%. So I think we're getting, I think it's 26% at the county from property taxes. So, anyways, bring that 23rd month. I have your support. Another thing we're bringing forward, well, we approved it conceptually, entertainment zones. And specifically, we want to start in town center, where during specific events, you can, instead of bringing in food vendors and stuff to sell alcohol, you would be able to go into a bar and walk out with a drink, especially marked cup. It is to, you know, enhance business, permitted. Sacramento's doing it, Auburn's doing it. There was a new state law that allows it to happen, and we can actually go into an establishment, get an alcoholic beverage, and leave it for certain permitted times. So town center wants to do that. I supported it, and the board supported it. So I think Georgetown maybe is as well. The fireworks July 3rd at town center. Dorado County Fairs, June 18th to the 21st. Green Valley Apartments. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. I'm actually having a meeting on Monday to learn more about it. But planning and building did deem it ministerial and eligible for streamlined approval, except from CDL. So, as you all know, prior board denied the application years ago due to its proximity to wetlands, and legislature legislated around a reason for denying. And finding more and more, the state is writing local authority. It's kind of sad. Saratoga and Finders, new signs up now. I hope they're helping. Is it? Yeah. Is it? Okay. All right. I mean, the ultimate goal is to widen that road. I think something else is built in that location. I understand there might be an application to build something else there. Hopefully we can get that road widened there, but I think it's hopeful that it's working at that intersection. Southbound Silver Valley is going to be closed all summer at Clarksville. Clarksville is currently closed now. And a lot of people think, well, it need to run a sewage line for the new homes in Park. What is it?
814.
35 homes. And they don't have sewage line. So they need to run it across Silver Valley. So that started. It's supposed to be done by the time school gets back in, but it's going to be worse. Southbound Silver Valley on Clarksville Road. Everyone thinks it's Costco already.
Yes.
No, it's not Costco. Promise. We're going to hear the appeal on M5 on Tuesday, and as most some of you were there, the meeting that long range planning had, the workshop at CSD for the design review standards for El Dorado Hills. I guess there wasn't a lot of interest in the designs that they presented.
Yes.
Heard this much.
Yeah, I talked to Tom a little bit. I did.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but most people didn't like the designs that were the options available, and so planning and building, they're actually have to extend the contract with the consultant, bring new designs, try to make it more. I mean, we don't want farmhouse designs and El Dorado Hills.
Mine was more about the,
No, go ahead.
oh, sorry.
Do you have a microphone?
My biggest concern is that it was the,
There you go.
Oh, sorry, Kelly Nullivael out there. Obviously the farmhouse, I mean, hello. The one that really I'm worried about is the standard modular design they're using for the affordable housing. You guys probably see them everywhere. They kind of look like a puzzle box, I call them. And these are actual modulars. They are not building from ground up. Our company has been on many, many of these projects. And I really am concerned on how we're gonna fight these modular designs that all look the same, no matter where you go. They're all the same, because it is such a cost savings.
It's my understanding that if, when we adopt our design review standards, different areas throughout the county, that everyone has to abide by that. Problem is, Bob sent an email today regarding Green Valley Parks, will they have to abide by that? And it's my understanding also that unless if application is, if they apply before the standards are adopted, doesn't apply. It's not kind of thinking the same thing with costume. Again, if costume is approved, that could look a little better than regular costume. I know they could do that. They've done that in the stores. Mexico City has a soccer field like that.
Hey.
It can be done. And, but we need to get the design review adopted, and it's going to be delayed. Originally, I think they were targeting for late fall.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
sorry, so I couldn't attend that meeting that night.
Yeah.
But I was involved in our other ones, and we all had ideas that we were acceptable for certain types of designs, so who came up with, I don't like any of them?
well, it was based off of, yeah,
Linda, none of our, I mean, I spent hours putting together notes, photographs, everything, because
Yeah.
I was on the tour with you, and really,
That's not what was presented.
that wasn't the feedback.
No.
It's just for Dorado Hills.
I know.
yeah. So,
We joined through here.
yeah. So APAC facilitated that meeting at the CSD building. It was a workshop. So you walk through and you could go and you could put your notes on what was presented. Primarily what was there with the things that the staff had come up with originally, along with the consultant. We had some input, and I think most of that group is here in this room right now. But we had some input on that. But what was presented in the draft that they have posted online, it still looks like they pulled the parts from Shingle Springs, design review or design standards, a little bit from Cameron Park maybe, and that's what they put together. And when I talked to Tom from Long Range Planning, he said, well, if there's a lot of suggestions for changes, this will extend it out because we want the consultants to incorporate the community feedback into it. And while I was up, I was a little sad that was, I think, only about a dozen people that were able to attend. And so I'm going to evangelize now. We'll publish it again when there's the next workshop, and anybody, you walk in for 10 minutes and look at the exhibits and write down yes, no, how about this? So, and you could do that even if you don't go to the workshop. You can look at what the draft document shows. So, but you know, I think I've talked to Bob about, Bob went to the meeting as well. You know, these are objective design standards, and the county has a design standard right now. They adopted, was it last year? Year before? Last year, thank you. That they adopted. And the idea is like, yes, it will streamline projects. So if somebody comes in, they say, I fit everything that you have in this standard, it streamlines the process, and they do, and it sails through for approval. Maybe that's not always a good thing, but at least we have the standard in place, the countywide one. The community standards are designed based off the input from the community. And, you know, if you have those design standards in place, you can sort of, I don't want to say combat, but you can work with this legislation the state is imposing on all communities. If you have your own standards in place, and it's where you can get a little bit of hold of you know, the standards and how projects can go. It's not the best solution, but it's a solution, and it's an opportunity for us to provide input. So I would encourage everybody to go, and I think we have it linked on the website on the post we have about that meeting. The draft is there. Tom said that there were a lot of suggestions, which is a good thing. I would like to see more than 12 people show up, or more than 12 people make those suggestions.
Quite frankly, and I'm talking both from the Dorado field, but also to their counterpart.
Yes.
See the same thing happen. I think the long-range planning people are good, they're sincere, but they raise the meeting in such a way that you walk in and you really are not given an opening, and there's no forum, people actually communicating. go over there and talk to somebody that's going to, twist your arm, say you need to call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cameron Park particularly, Cameron Park has had historically fine committee.
The design review committee, yes.
Those committee people are back.
Yes.
Yeah, and they told me about the format, but then, like, let's say it was on from 6 to 8. They would have to have everybody there at 6 o'clock to give a briefing on how this is gonna work, and then instead of having people kind of trickling throughout the night, which they didn't anyways, because like I said, there's 10 people there. But it was frustrating, like, there's no like options for testing elevations, stuff that's already here that looks, in my opinion, pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna go back to the public, because the overwhelming opinion of the public, we didn't like any of the options.
Well,
That's
yeah, I had suggested to Tom, I said, if you want to have something that's more of a discussion, we could facilitate that as well. But it will wait for those to come
One of the
back.
things that I've been doing, because Shingle Springs completed theirs, I share that with people because it's completed, and it shows the text for things too, not necessarily just the buildings, but also the other factors to consider when you're doing the design itself. So it's structural for one, but which they should have pictures. We had pictures of the places that we looked at. And
Yes,
all
on the
of them
tour.
we had anyways, so, but it's good to know that it's not just about the look, it's about the structure, it's about setbacks, it's about parking direction, all that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I think some of those things could be helpful. Maybe we can help put together a
Yeah.
presentation.
And
Part of that problem is that, people who haven't developed communicate, people, to my mind, for instance, important aspect, I consider it the defense against state mandates. You set our standards up. If it has something to defend, that applies to the hospital, that applies to, Green Valley Family Apartments, or whatever
Everything
else.
we know.
yeah,
And unfortunately, staff's not articulating that. They see it as a way to get the applicant.
Yeah.
Whereas from my point of view, is that, if we want to defend ourselves against state mandates, we have a vehicle, and the law is very clear. If you can. But this is the time to get these things in place. And then it's strong.
yeah.
And right now, it's not.
And I think the thing we failed to mention, when we talk about objective design standards, it's very narrow. It's multifamily and commercial. So it's not about your neighborhood homes. So, I mean, it is a very narrow, but if we have those in place, like Bob's describing, we have a toehold to say no to things or to refute things, whether we win or lose, it's not up to us. But as long as we have them there, that it's a tool. But it is a two-way tool, and Kelly knows this. It's a tool to streamline applications so they go through faster, which isn't always bad. Maybe it's not always good, but at least we have something in place. So.
Do you have any questions?
Well, look at the
Oh,
ball.
you haven't talked. You-
Local residents here, my name is Jans. Board of Supervisor number 1 here, Greg. I really do not like the idea, and many people out there who are listening to this meeting as well will probably go with me on this program, on a conceptual vote on how to spend the sales tax and property taxes by the Board of Supervisors on the June 23rd meeting. Spending the money that might come to us in 2028, 2029, is putting a horse behind the wagon, and the BOS people will make a stand. Oh, this is how we're going to spend this money, and we're going to keep the money here. All these people who are with or against Costco, whatever it might be, on which side of the fence you are, going to throw a major curveball to that on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. And also, by 2028 or 29, we don't even know who's in charge and where we're standing here. But now we're going to put a flag up And other Board of Supervisors who are maybe hoping for money in District 3, 4, or 5, they're going to be, oh, you're not going to get money, much of anything. So I don't think, besides that point, I don't think that we should even bring that up as a valid thing to the public and to bring that to the public and to make them aware that the Board of Supervisors are going to vote for this to keep the money in EDH. I think that's really, really bad and gives a whole wrong signal to the community who've been active about this project since 2018 with John Hydell. So now the BOS is all of a sudden saying, oh, we're going to vote how the tax dollars are going, the sales tax is going, or the property tax is going. The thing is not even built. The first bulldozer will maybe arrive in 2028. It's going to be a long process. That's really what that Rafael Martinez told us that twice.
No. This is supplemental money. This is not TIF or anything like that. It's extra money. So you would rather just have it dispersed 5 ways? We have 5 districts equal.
Yeah, I think other projects that brought money into the table, whoever, the Walmart up in Shingle Springs or Cameron Park, wherever that money, that sales tax money from Walmart goes into different pockets.
Yeah, but for years it stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there
That
was,
whole corridor was very flat. MCFP, and I don't really understand it 100%, but that a certain percentage of the sales tax money for all those businesses, or a lot of those businesses along that Missouri Flat corridor stayed in that area for those improvements. And we just discontinued it this year. It's been going
Yeah.
on for years.
it was before the interchange was improved, and that was maybe 20 years ago. But they did that for that as the developer came in and they said, well, let's make a district. And the money generated will fund the interchange, which they needed anyways, but will also provide the improvements along Missouri Flat and around the areas. So I know there'd been talk about that, about El Dorado Hills in the past about this. So the question is, how do they structure it? Is it something for roads or is it something for, because I don't know what else here the county would be.
No, just,
Yeah.
one that's additional maintenance or,
Yeah.
or, put in a,
Capacity, yeah. Yeah.
I want to look out for El Dorado Hills if this happens, because all the impacts, Boston's not going to absorb any impacts for Costco. It's going to be El Dorado Hills.
So the question would be, what would the boundaries of the district? So there'd be all of El Dorado Hills.
Yeah.
So any development that
I'm not
produces,
just doing it this one, and then.
no,
No.
no.
No, it had to be 2, and then I think to get the other vote, I just gotta make it the whole zip code and week 4.
Yeah. So, but, right, and if you think it's a bad idea, you should probably provide those comments, right? When you could write, you're good at it. You can write your comments, and if you want to do it in person as well. But I know you're passionate about it, so, but anybody, whatever side you line up on, let them know what you think.
It should be on the agenda June 23rd.
Yeah.
It's like around the corner.
I think it's better to period.
I think it's just talking about the optics of it, because we're all still waiting
Yeah,
for them to come back with their final.
right.
One of the big issues that we brought up is they had no financial impact. Because there's tons of roadways that would have to be expanded. So if it was done in such a way where focusing that, then.
But I don't even want this money to go to those initial impacts. I want extra. That's my intent.
Okay.
I don't want it to have to pay for the White Rock, right?
Yeah.
White Rock, that should be done before it's built.
That's all zone commercial.
It's all commercial.
Whether the Costco goes in there, or, Walmart or.
Whatever goes in there could,
Or
this is a
any
lot of
place in El
stuff.
Dorado Hills.
Or, well, especially it's already zoned, it's gonna be some kind of commercial big box, something or another someday. Just a thought.
No, you're absolutely right. Zone for commercial. They bought the land, they have no intent on building it up the hill, bought the land, put it here.
Well,
Your overall concern about more equity for our communities here. Obviously, next week you guys are also looking at CIP deficit. I know both H-Bar and I voted against that because, right,
for CIP, in order, so most of the CIPs are funded, I think most of the CIP funded, most of the projects in there. So putting in the CIP funding allows them to collect TIF for that project when they develop. That's my understanding.
Well, the problem is they have left out a lot of projects that should be on there also. And then, so a number of things have come forward before APAC for the last couple of years. We express it, but they're still not identified. The essence to my mind is that you're being asked, you supervisors, like we were as commissioners, we're asking, is this consistent with the general plan? And if there's disparity there that's evident, how can that be consistent? And so, I think a message has to be sent. Dave and I will try to send that message. And hopefully it'll be heard on Tuesday. But that's all.
Kelly first and then Bill after that.
Okay.
Well, for those.
Thank you, Greg, for yesterday and speaking of our right to public speak. I really liked your motion. I felt it was very balanced and fair. And though it didn't go our way, you speak up for us. And just like this issue with Costco, whether you agree or disagree, it's important to know that our supervisor is speaking up for us and our rights. So make sure you call at the right time when they talk about Costco, because it gets really confusing.
Well, Costco will be here.
Oh, it will be a
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah.
Oh,
Sure,
good.
well, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Secondly, though, just to throw out there, when I get in a rabbit hole, it's very big, and Costco has been my rabbit hole. And I actually got to have a conversation with one of the general managers at Folsom. And so just so you know, the average Costco brings in 300 million a year, of which 1/3 of that is non-food. And to experiment that, I just have been doing my shopping and saving my receipts. And so my last trip was $479.12, and my sales tax was $29.63. So when we're looking at the big picture of when people think it's going to be this astronomical money generator, it's not. So I really hope people think about that carefully when they think about, here's my second stat, the average Costco between Monday and Sunday has 10,000 to 14,000 visitors a day. And that's all I have to say.
Now, you're
Thank
already
you.
at sales tax, so third is $1 million a year. Not a ton.
For me, when I look at that community, the school, Serrano behind there, the wetlands across the street, I just find that to be really disheartening and devastating. But I do think most people do not understand. For example, you just reiterated that we don't get the 7.25%. There are people that literally think 7.25% of 300 million is going to be in our coffers. And if that was the case, I would be saying, let's bring on the Costco. I think we all would. So I do hope that we get more factual education to people so that they truly see the big picture of what bringing this monstrosity to El Dorado Hills will mean to that little Silva Valley. And this is all my opinion. Thank you.
Bill?
Hi, everybody. Excuse me.
You're first.
My-
You're
my
first.
turn?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Bill Knox here, and I just want to offer some very complimentary remarks to Supervisor Greg Ferraro, and of course to Cindy Munt, who's extremely capable assistant, on a couple of things. One is that my good friends here who live off of Finder's Way, they just commented about the traffic situation through there and how that has been improved dramatically with the lights going in there, warning people to watch out for traffic coming through on Finder's Way. I want to thank Rafael Martinez and his staff for helping to make that possible. The reason I'm saying this, we don't live there, but we do travel that way very frequently. And we know that route extremely well, like the back of our hand, like the back of our whatever. We know it very, very well. So I hope that it's all working well for you. The other thing I wanted to say is that I volunteer at the California Welcome Center in El Dorado Hills, in Town Center. I've been doing that since 2011, and I love doing that very, very much. Bringing people in and getting people familiar with the area. And one of the things I've noticed is that the Town Center has really increased a lot in terms of activities, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of people coming in and really being aware of El Dorado Hills and why is it even there and so forth and so on. So Supervisor Ferrero, you commented, I think, something about drinks?
Entertainment zone, yeah.
Entertainment zone, thank you. I appreciate that. So can you clarify that a little bit? Just,
Yeah, so entertainment zone, it's I can't set a bill or set a bill. It's passed by the state where local jurisdictions can set up entertainment zones.
okay,
Because previously it was illegal to drink on the street public.
right,
Um,
okay,
So like a place like Town Center that has a lot of different events, whether it's concert series that start tomorrow night or July 3rd fireworks. They typically, like Town Center used to let you bring alcohol to a venue. And then they got, a couple of years ago, got in trouble by the ABC. So they prohibited that, bringing your own. So they would bring in beer trucks and like
Yeah.
a trailer that makes a bar on a trailer. And so what the entertainment zone will do will allow you to go into a bar, South Fork or Milestone, get a drink, and especially a special plastic cup, and leave with it.
okay,
And there has to be signs and orders, saying, the entertainment zone ends here. My original concern was people going to get in their car and take a drink, or drive drunk, but they could do that already, so I don't think it's a huge concern. Talk to the sheriff, talk to the CHP. So it'll allow you to take, a drink outside of a restaurant
Yeah.
and sit outside and drink it during a concert or whatever type of thing. And it has to be, like I said, there's gonna be boundaries where you can go and where you can't.
thank you. Now,
That's just to stimulate business here.
no, okay, fine. I'm almost through because, as you probably well know, I know Debbie Manning, the president and CEO of the El Dorado Hills
That's a good
Chamber,
idea.
extremely well. So is she very much aware of this?
Very much in support of it. She's on me. Why isn't it done already? Yeah.
Okay,
And her and Nagel, they're on me all the time about why isn't it done? Why is it
Oh,
taking
yeah.
so long?
oh, yeah,
So,
oh, that's okay.
Okay, we got two more.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, Jan.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate the comment there about these lights here on the Finders Way and Saratoga. We should talk to Martinez for a minute and bring some of those extra lights he has maybe stored away to Silver Valley Parkway. That's the next DRS zone on daily basis from Clarksville Crossing to the lights at Serrano Parkway. If you put somebody there on with a speed gun, he can make a living writing speeding tickets every day. Past,
HB.
yeah, past
So this-
Entrada
you guys are looking
gate.
at the upcoming intersection.
Right.
Not to-
I know, but we can do that with. That would be fantastic there. Back to June 23rd, because that's really bothering me, what I heard here today. I'm sure I had several meetings with Rafael Martinez also here and also online with the El Dorado Insider, where I listened to that. He is counting also on sales tax money coming to the DOT. And he wants to spend that money with his graphics in other areas besides El Dorado Hills. So I'm really going to be curious how that is all materializing down the street, also for the county. So I'm just,
What's he want to spend? DOT?
yeah,
Well,
The-
yeah.
everybody wants,
I mean, there's a certain amount of money that goes into the road fund, whether it's SB1, gas tax, a certain amount of property tax, sales tax. So yeah, no, of course they want more. Okay. Which is a good thing for us, because we get better roads.
they, in Serrano, I'm happy that we are here at the fire station here, and I'm happy that we have a representative of the fire station here in the room as well. Bill Parker's property have been inundated by weed embankment signs, left, right, and over and under. I think we probably in Serrano, we probably have over 20 signs everywhere throughout the whole community, or maybe probably more, all on Bill Parker's properties. Why are we not putting any of these signs addressed to the fire department here on EDH, on Costco EDH North and EDH and Costco EDH 52 South? Weeds shoulder high. I reached out 6 weeks ago to Costco in Issaquah and wrote Scott an email, said, hey, send in the troops here. 6 weeks later, right now, as of today, we have high fire season for the state, for Northern California. We have massive construction going on Clarksville Road with the DOT people for the sewer from 814 for Mr. Bill Parker to accommodate him on a drainage system that was not in place before he started even thinking about building something there. And here we have fire risk going on. All the homeowners on Village A facing that lot of EDH 52 North are being pretty much canceled out of their home insurances because of fire. Serrano held a meeting recently educating the people of Serrano.
Your 3 minutes are
I
up.
appreciate that.
No, I appreciate it too. Your
Chris, do
3
you wanna
minutes
talk-
are up.
Can you explain how you guys determine what lots get tagged and not?
Sure.
We get a list of.
You have the mic,
Sorry.
Sure, we get a list of vacant lots every year from the county's assessor's office of lots that are at the time there's no construction or building on it. And then we go out and we inspect them all to see if they're complying with county ordinance that dictates weed abatement on their properties. We've talked to a number of people who, you guys probably remember this year was very strange in that March was like May and May was like March in terms of late rains. So a lot of people did their abatement when they normally do, and then the weeds grow back. So we're trying to work with homeowners. If they call and say, hey, I cut my weeds and then it rained and they grow back, we're working with them if they have a plan to deal with it. And most of the Parker properties that you mentioned, as well as there's plenty throughout the county, we are working with them to get them to deal with it. And if you have specific properties you want us to look at, please come see at the end. Just tell me where you're talking about and we'll go by. Although I will say that some people mistake a vacant. Once construction begins on a property, it's no longer a vacant property. So if there's earth being moved or construction, now they don't have to follow the same ones. They're no longer a vacant lot. And there's not much we can do for them. But if you have specific lots in mind that you've driven by one time and again, it doesn't look like anything's happening, please let us know. Because we're a staff of just a few people for 1,200 or so vacant lots. It's tough to keep on all of them. But like I said, please let me know at the end and I'll be happy to go check on them.
So, Greg, we had, yeah.
Well, no, that's
It's a
good
great
idea.
idea. I think it's a great
Yeah,
idea.
no, that's a good idea. I mean, the reason we're identifying Costco is because Costco's intending, moving forward, or they want to move. So if Costco doesn't get built and something else is gonna come down, then fill it around. Or something, some kind of big box thing or same thing. That's a good idea.
And do you have one?
Oh, Greg, just a quick question. What would happen if we have cityhood? What would happen?
That's for the math majors to figure out.
All right,
I'm not gonna try to address that one. That would all be in the revenue neutrality negotiations.
Yeah.
I think, personally, conceptually, I'm in favor of the idea, partly because I think it's going to give the community a sense of what the existing 5 members of the Board of Supervisors, where they might be going on this. If they say no, they don't want to share the money, well, that'll help. Maybe if you're in favor of city, that'll tell you how they address it. If something is built, they want the money to go into the general fund and it gets divided up however it gets divided up. It's not specifically dedicated to addressing the impacts that are faced in El Dorado Hills by Costco or whatever might be built there. If they say yes, then you probably know that they are going to be in favor. If and when Costco makes it up to them, they will probably be voting in favor of Costco, and you'll get a sense of where the politics lie, and that allows an opportunity in the next 5, 6 months, whatever it takes, to politicize, go to meetings, make your position known, whether you're in favor of it or whether, like, I think you're against it. Let the community know and let the people know. But you have to be there, or at least phone in or write in, because otherwise they think it's just Greg and George doing something. If they don't have any expression of support from the community, then they're just going to go the way they want to go.
And yeah,
This is very telling
yes.
about cityhood and board of supervisors, and yes, how much love they give El Dorado Hills.
Yeah, and we'll wrap this up and let you sit down because you've been working hard for about an hour. So much for a vacation. Just to put a button on what Tim is talking about. We had a matter last year come up that Supervisor Ferrero and Supervisor Turnbull were talking about impacts here in El Dorado Hills, about an appointment or a vote to fill a vacant position in our CSD board. And I want to remind everybody that a friend of mine on that board said, that sounds like an El Dorado Hills problem.
Maybe it was those people in El Dorado Hills.
Yes. So I will leave it at that. Thank you. And
That person will no longer be here.
you let.
So just one quick comment. So I appreciate John's point about the optics of making a statement about Costco. I like to get in front of problems, and I think that's what you're trying to do here. I really like the idea of making a more generic statement. So you're not taking a position on that, Costco specifically, but you're taking a position on the revenue should stay here. So great idea. And I like getting in front of it that way.
Great. All right. Thank you. So I promise, let's see, where's our clock? Let's go. Okay. So remind everyone how you become a voting member of APAC. You volunteer to work on a project review or a subcommittee. Our existing members can help you learn about the process and the steps that we use right now. You might make our process better because you could educate us more. We were going to have a guest speaker tonight. It's been moved to August. We're going to have Woody Deloria, who's the executive director of the El Dorado County Transportation Commission, come and talk about the Transportation Commission, which is not a county agency, it's a separate agency, but they help obtain funding and help plan for our road network and our pedestrian assets and like sidewalks, bike paths, things like that. So Woody he was trying to be here for this meeting tonight, but he will be here in August. So here we go. And then let's go as fast as we can. Our current projects that we're looking at right now, Marble Valley, waiting for the final EIR, Lime Rock Valley specific plan also, and those are sort of commingled. We understand that it's probably we're talking about not this year, which would give us a little break. But who knows, something might develop. We talked about Costco a lot tonight. We're waiting for the final EIR to come back on that. And maybe they'll find something that they have to recirculate the draft again or a part of the draft. We don't know. So we're pending on that. Generations in Green Valley, we had provided our comments on their draft EIR over a year ago. And so we're still waiting for the final EIR on that. Gateway El Dorado specific plan, which is sort of around the tractor supply and the warehousing. It's zone R&D. So they had their scoping meeting. We're waiting for the draft EIR on that. We might see something this year.
End of August.
End of August, perhaps. Up in there, because these things are not set in stone. Serrano Village D1, Lot D, the 35 single family lots, which is literally right behind the building here, and it goes back towards Serrano Parkway. It was approved, obviously, in the 1988 El Dorado Specific Plan. And everybody calls it Asbestos Ridge. So, but they're now moving forward because they were going to trade those properties when they're considered the Central Outer Hills project to build homes in the golf course. Village D, Lot 35, in the asbestos part of this, the law is you just bury it. You don't disturb it and you bury it. So I know it's still a concern, and we'll raise those concerns when we provide comments on that. But their project was in a status of not complete when they submitted their paperwork. It is complete now, and they have uploaded some documents into Track It. And I have a link there for Track It when we post this slide. And if I can get time tomorrow, I'll be posting the documents as well. Town and Country Village El Dorado, the 2 hotel project, and the associated remainder parcels over there. The Board of Supervisors had asked to return that to Planning Commission for additional review, and we're waiting. I have not talked to them in a while. I know that they're efforting to do something, but I don't know where they're at with that. They're very good. When they have something to tell us, they tell us. So those are the projects that we're waiting on, that we've either touched or talked about. So, but really tonight, the thing we're going to talk about after Woody's presentation, and we'll have that in August, is about all these projects are coming back with their final EIRs. Okay, we know on the draft EIRs, we get 30 to 90 days to review them. What are we going to do when these projects come back, considering it's a small group here of volunteers, and we hope the community helps. So this is what it looks like. We picked Marble Valley just to talk about it, and just to get everybody ready and get your minds ready that, hey, when it comes out, we really could use some help. So we're going to talk about the timeline for the Planning Commission hearings and the Board of Supervisors hearings, how we respond to the final EIR. So Planning Commission, those documents, typically we get a 2-week heads up, right? That the Planning Commission meeting agendas are usually published in time where we get 2 weeks. Board of Supervisors is usually we'll get it tomorrow for next Tuesday's meeting. So that's very compressed. So the Planning Commission provides us the most opportunity in terms of time. However, additional documents can still be added in Legistar, like staff reports and other exhibits that the applicants come up with, and other supporting documents. So even up to the time of the hearing, and planning commissioners, sorry, Bob, they get exposed to the same thing. They're getting documents almost last minute, and that's tough. So we remind everybody, and we don't get it done all the time. Written public comments, you send them in via email. You send them to planning, the planning email, but you also can CC each of the planning commissioners in that 2-week period. And you can do it multiple times if you have multiple comments, or if you want to revise comment. And I know at least 2 of our planning commissioners are eager to read those comments. So, and they're typically here in our meetings. But so try to get the agenda says try to have it by the Wednesday before the day before the meeting. Try to get it to Tuesday so you allow the planning commissioners time to read and consider what you're asking or proposing or suggesting or have a question about. So with the final EIR, there's no minimum required period like we get with the draft EIR. So when it's posted, it's posted. Lead agency by CEQA law has to provide written responses to the comments received in the draft EIR, primarily to public agencies, but it's everyone, at least 10 days prior to certifying the final. And the EIR usually is certified, in some instances it's certified at the Planning Commission, sometimes it moves forward to the Board of Supervisors. So we have a very narrow window to respond. And then the Planning Commission makes advisory recommendations, primarily findings of the Board of Supervisors. They can make a recommendation to support, suggest additional conditions of approval, can modify some of the mitigations or the COAs, and whether they can whether they would recommend certifying the final EIR or denying it. They can make that recommendation, and then it moves forward to the board. And for some matters, right now, a project like Costco, it's going to the Planning Commission for a decision, and it would go to the Board of Supervisors if it's appealed. So if it gets approved, somebody's going to appeal. If it gets denied, Costco is likely to appeal. So you probably will see something, but Bob, yeah, but and also it could be litigated before or after either of those, but Bob gets the first swing at it. So we just want, so timeline, right? This is what we're talking about. We have a very narrow window, and we're talking about 10,000 pages of documents. In the case of Costco, very similar for Marble Valley. I know it's upsetting. So on the Board of Supervisors, that timeline for review, as I said, those documents are usually in legislature. For the Planning Commission, the board gets them as well. So we have a little more time that, and there's a gap between those hearings, but there might be new documents added. And usually those we only see about a week before, if the agenda is published and the documents are in legislature, great, but typically it's about a week. So, yeah, 3 days, yeah. So, but we've been pretty good about getting them, like the Thursday before the Tuesday meeting, yeah. So, and additional documents can be put in even after that notice is provided. That happens a lot. So the board can accept the Planning Commission recommendations, their findings. They can make their own changes, suggest things for the condition of approval or mitigation requirements, which are great things. Like if we make comments and we say it should be this. The only caveat on that is that we're doing a lot of analysis and review. And when you make a change, when somebody's at the podium or a suggestion among the board, well, nobody's really reviewing that, right? So there's no analysis of famously the Bass Lake North, the 90 homes in the Bass Lake Hills specific plan, they're required to build the park and ride lot, 100 spaces at Bass Lake Road and the highway. And District 2 supervisor years and years ago, in 2018, said, hey, what about a class 1 bike path? There should be a class 1 bike path. And the applicant said, absolutely, I will do that if you approve my project. And then he found out that both the bike path was over $1 million and the parking lot was over $1 million, and then tried to withdraw, modify. So that's the thing, right? If you don't analyze it before, you really don't, it's good to have that input. It'd be nice for the board to be able to consider it, hey, what are the impacts if we change this? But that's not how it works. So where do we leave off? So written comments, same thing. You send them into the clerk of the board, and the email address is here. And you could also see each of the supervisors, and Cindy gets to read them too. So, but again, if you get them in, I think you can get them in on Monday is the latest. But if you can get them in earlier, so it gives them time to see it and consider what you're saying, that's probably a little more effective. So, and then if you're making a public comment at a hearing, you get 3 minutes. Unless that changed yesterday, it didn't change. No. So, because I haven't watched the meeting yet, I was working. So again, they can approve project for entitlements. They can modify conditions of approval. They can modify or remove mitigations, deny, either certify or not certify the final EIR. So all those things could happen. Then the applicant can, choose to do something, ask for reconsideration, but they could also ask to continue a project with some specific questions, either on or off calendar, to come back for more review, or they can turn around and put it back to the Planning Commission to have more analysis done at that level and get a recommendation from the Planning Commission based on their new questions. So, are you ready? Okay. Marble Valley, right? It's like Costco. It's a big beast to get your arms around. So this is just an example of some of the things that we had concerns about in the draft EIR. And we don't have to go through all of them, but this is the short version, and it's too many pages. So, obviously we were concerned about the general plan consistency, specifically about community region boundaries and policies that were put in place to limit that sort of urban or suburban expansion in our communities. We obviously are concerned the draft ER had relied primarily on the vehicle mile standard, which is the CEQA standard, but we felt like maybe it's a little bit of short attention to the level of service, which is in our general plan, level of service EF. So a lot of people have said it's inconsistent with the general plan on the water supply, and we had a very good analysis from Alistair Dunn, one of our members, about that. We still have questions about that. So the traffic impact concerns, you're talking about 3,200 homes south of Bass Lake, south of the freeway at Bass Lake Road. You know, just we have a lot of questions and we don't know the answers. You know, one of the things that came up that's not analyzed in there was, well, you know, so they talked about schools. So high schools are the bigger impact because they're not building a high school and they're not building it there. There's nothing that's in that draft ER about how students are getting to Union Mine High School. They're not coming here, they're going uphill because there's no capacity here. Eventually, there may be another high school on the property south of Creekside. The school district says that's not, the high school district says it's not coming anytime soon. So what are the impacts of driving students for 3,200 homes to a high school, and they drive right by past Ponderosa on the highway to get to the other high school? You know, none of that's analyzed. So things like that when we're going through. And again, the infrastructure capacity, we're concerned about the timing, the funding, and you know how the construction is going to happen, how it's going to be scheduled. You know, concurrent is, I think, the worst case, that they're doing it as they're developing. The best case we always ask for is let's get as much infrastructure in place before you fully develop it. But so just things that water supply concerns. Again, Alice did a very good analysis. I don't think EID fully answered our questions, but I know they've done updated analysis. Again, with the EID, the question is always about, well, you know, they are getting connection fees to connect inside, and the infrastructure for EID, water, sewer inside the project, obviously the developer is doing. But how are we getting that connection into those projects? This project is talking about a connection that's coming from essentially Sly Park down on the south side. And then you're going to try Bassick Road to move water and sewer. And the water treatment plant is inside the development. And there's a question about the capacity of that. Do they have enough capacity for that? So those things, ratepayers end up paying for. So these are, you know, just things that we're asking, you know, these are things that we put in, and we'll see what the answers are in the final. If they're not addressed, we still got to ask them again and let the decision makers know, hey, are you really considering this? Water and sewer, again, same thing. 17, and you know, we're talking about cumulatively with all the projects that are planned or approved, 17,000 residential units. It's a lot. And again, the traffic mitigation, are we really mitigating, or are we just, we're getting to, you know, the worst acceptable? And are we really considered the impacts? So, will they fully offset the impacts with the mitigations that's supplied, and especially if some of them get modified either at the planning commission or at the board of supervisors? And then again, Bassick Road, the interchange, that is a nutty thing because they have to coordinate with Caltrans for the interim improvements. They're talking 6 years, I think. Am I remembering that right? So 6 years to get the interim improvements, and then a lot of that interim improvements to facilitate, I think they said at 800 building units in Marble Valley out of 3,200. And then when they have to build the full interchange, a lot of the interim stuff gets torn out after, yeah. Well, it depends on the development cycle, yeah, how long it takes. So, and the same thing will happen at Cambridge Road too. It's technically not in El Dorado Hills. We'll talk about it when we, you know, get that feedback. But so, and then just to scale the increase, because there was a specific plan there for Marble Valley in 1998 for, I think it was 398 homes. Now we're moving on. They want to do 3,200 homes. So, you know, we get it, right? We need to build homes because people are moving here. We're a growing community, and we're the growing community in El Dorado Hills. Is that, how do we square that? Does that line up? And I know that when Bill Parker bought that property in 2000, after it had been improved in 98 for about 400 homes, his comment in the Business Journal was, well, yeah, we're running out of custom home sites. We anticipate we'll be out of custom home sites. Well, that, you know, we had a recession, so that didn't happen. And the 400 would fit and would be great for custom homes. But now it's not custom homes, it's 3,200 homes, so it's a mix. So the full impacts, right? Those are the things that we look at. We got to get all that in for the planning commission in 2 weeks, maybe 3 if we get a good lead time. We did ask for 3 weeks, but we'll see what happens. And at the board of supervisors, we'll have about a week afterwards. You know, it could be a month, 2 months later, it could be 6 months later by the time it gets to the board of supervisors. Timing, how do we do this? How do we process it? You know, we got to be efficient with how we're doing it. We don't want to miss anything, but it's quite reasonable we will miss something. And we might ask questions that there are good answers to that we go, oh, we didn't know that. That's where we got to ask it. So coming up with those final EIRs, there's Lime Rock, which is sort of associated with Rumble Valley. Generations of Green Valley, it's 379 for homes, Costco, obviously. So we need volunteers to help prepare findings and comments. If you have two questions, that's two more questions or two more observations that we did not have before we started. So all of them are valuable. We had a lot of 2-question, 3-question contributions when we did the draft EIR for Costco. That was valuable. So the reason we talked about this tonight, and then we wanted to make it a short part of the night, I'm trying, have 40 minutes, if that clock's right. I'm going to use all of them. But we wanted to raise this and remind everyone, there's a lot of work to do this. And we don't want you to do a lot of work. We would like community to do a little bit to say, hey, just give us something that will help. That's a concern that maybe we haven't talked about and that you have, or maybe something we said makes you think about something. So that was the intent of making this discussion tonight. Again, the way you participate, don't come up to us at the end of the meeting because I will not remember. But our email address is on the agenda. It's on our website. Our email addresses are at the top of the agenda. So, and with that, is there anything I missed on that?
No, you didn't miss anything. I think it's important, though. Look, we talk about, documents, 10,000 pages. Even APAC's comments on the draft EIRs are running now 60 to 90 pages. Yes. Maybe we get lucky and one of the 5 supervisors, probably the one in this room, will read that because it's from APAC. We almost, when we get to the looking at a final EIR, getting our comments in, we really have to do a cheat sheet for soups. Okay? It has to be 2 pages and it has to go like this. What was not addressed adequately in the final EIR by staff? We still have questions about, and it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Air quality.
Not
Yeah.
adequately. Aren't going to be reading as much detail as Art Soup is. They have it in front of them because they're not going to read 5 pages. They will read a 1-page cheat sheet, which just slams to them the most important issues that we hope that they will address and discuss at their meeting.
Yeah, we've been trying to do an executive summary when we start it to highlight and then have supporting documents, which ends up being 60 to 90 pages. But yeah, just to have the important things there. And if somebody wants to, oh yeah, what is that? They can go look at the supporting document. We need to organize it better so they can find it, but we've been trying. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying, but
yeah.
As you're talking about this, I was thinking about AI. You can send AI in on those 95 pages and tell them to pull out.
Oh yeah, to organize.
Pull out the most important parts. I'd be curious to see what the end result would be.
Yes, it is. It's great for organization because sometimes like you're going through and go, wait, I can't miss that. Can't miss that. Wait, well, do I? But yeah, it's great for organization. However, AI gets a lot of things wrong. And when you tell it, what is this? Give me a reason for this. And they give you something back and you go, hey, that's not right what you said. And they go, you're right. I'm sorry we missed that. Here's what you should say. It's like, okay. So it's a great tool to organize, but to do the final, it's tough, right?
Just saying to have it pull out.
Yeah.
The important aspects. And you could probably set the parameters on that.
Yeah. The process. Yeah. But I mean, like I spent all day today coding JavaScript and structured data schema and a bunch of tons of things went wrong when you run it past. Hey, where are my errors? You put it in the AI and that's an error. It's like, wait, no, that's not an error. But this one I just saw I did give you is an error. So, yeah, if we could feed it in, get it organized, get it back, and then, but human eyes need to see it afterwards, and that's your job.
Right,
Okay.
that's right.
No, that's fine. No, that's,
Access to AI.
you have access. Yes. So, but no, and Linda,
Don't rely on AI. Just saying. Okay, so obviously we're concerned because we're coming up with a lot of potential work and it's gonna have to happen pretty fast. So that's the emphasis for tonight. My suggestion, if you guys have time to kill sometime, go onto the county website and read the general plan. At least start reading sections of it. Because that's what we're relating it to. We're relating to policies. It's not just a nice little guideline. They're actual policies that we voted in place that we want our county to look like. So those are the things that we're comparing. So when you start seeing things in the comments of these and you see it related to a specific policy, then you're like, oh, hey, I read that once. Wouldn't necessarily go through the ordinances. You can. They're two different things. But you know, if you need some light summer reading, then you could start to prepare for it now.
my eyes will close, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to memorize it all. I find new things all the time, but it's
Yeah.
just about focus.
And
But
I'm-
it's super helpful if we have more people engaging to catch the things that we may not catch or that hadn't been caught before. I mean, this is us as a community providing feedback on what we want, and it's super helpful.
Yeah.
So.
And this is a good segue real quick as we're adjourning. So Linda's been working on a glossary for us. And so and she's gotten, it's like what we were talking about. It's right there, right in front of you, and it's the quickest way. And so I'm excited, and thank you again for doing this, Linda. Well, as soon as we have in a complete format, then it will put on the website. It'll be another tool for the community to use. Remind everybody, when we do project reviews, our project reviews are not to stop a project or to support a project. It's to say, what are the impacts of the project? And when we see a concern or a problem, we want to identify it and suggest, well, we think it could be better this way. And when we say suggest, we suggest to the developers, applicants, and we suggest to the county, the review process. Hey, has this been considered? Like I said, there might be a good answer for, our question, and the way it's structured, it might be the least impactful, but if we don't ask, we don't know. So our goal is not to stop projects or to push projects forward. It's just get the information, share it with the community, and get good feedback into it so that what we end up with is a better project. Even if it's not the project we want it to be, less impactful. So is there anything I missed? Too much of me. It's good when we have a guest speaker. Our next meeting is technically scheduled on July 8th. We don't have any agenda items that would warrant a meeting yet. So if there's a bombshell that comes in the next couple of weeks, we'll schedule the meeting and I won't be here. These guys will do it. I'm traveling in July, but our meeting in August, we know we'll have a guest speaker and probably more project information. So anything else that we need to go back to? So thank you for coming and spending a night on an agenda item that was not super heavy, but we just want to have it. And it's the same people, right? You are the people we see every month. Tell a friend. And we are adjourned. And what time is it? 7:55. We got 35 extra minutes. All right.
Good job.
Now we can.
So I think the Zoom problem might have been my PC because it took a shit
Oh, did it?
in the middle of the meeting.
Well, I don't think